Your blood type. You think it's just a letter on a medical bracelet? Something that matters when you're bleeding out in an ER. But here's what they don't tell you. That code running through your veins isn't just deciding who can donate to you. It's whispering instructions to your immune system, reshaping how you handle stress, influencing what diseases hunt you, even shifting how your brain processes the world. This isn't astrology. This is biology with receipts. 4 letters, 8 variations, and a lifetime of hidden influence. Most people never connect. Let's decode what your blood type has been revealing about you all along. Type O, the Hunter's operating system. Type O, the original code. This is the blood that powered the first humans who chased protein across open plains with nothing but sharpened rocks and relentless endurance. No farms, no safety nets, just hunt or starve. And that ancient wiring, still running in your system, this is the most common blood type globally, flowing through nearly 40% of humanity, but common doesn't mean basic. This is the ancestral template, the default setting that every other blood type mutated away from. You're not a variation. You're the original build. Here's what that hunter genetics left you. A metabolism built for high-protein fuel. Your system doesn't just tolerate meat, it craves it at a cellular level. Throw type O onto a carb-heavy diet and watch the engine sputter. Blood sugar swings, energy crashes. Weight that clings like your body's confused about where the next meal is coming from. But give it clean protein and healthy fats. You're back on the savannah, operating at peak efficiency. Your stress response is pure fight. When pressure hits, your body dumps adrenaline like it's facing down a predator. In the ancient world, this was rocket fuel. Sprint, attack, survive, recover. In the modern world, sitting in traffic or staring at email, that same system your adrenaline spikes with nowhere to go. That's why type O handles acute stress like a weapon, but chronic stress like poison. You need physical release. The gym isn't self-care for you. It's system maintenance. But here's the trade-off. Evolution carved into your cells. That ancient gut, so good at extracting nutrients from game meat, left the door wide open for Helicobacter pylori, the bacteria that turns stomachs into acid battlegrounds. Type O gets ulcers at nearly double the rate of other types. Your digestive system is built for intensity, and sometimes it turns that intensity inward, and inflammation. Your immune system runs hot, always ready for the next infection, the next wound. Great for surviving the wilderness. Brutal for modern life. Type O shows higher baseline inflammation markers, which means more joint pain, more autoimmune and more of your own defenses treating your body like occupied territory. The vibe is intensity without apology. Type O doesn't idle well. You're not built for passive. You're built to move, to act, to engage physically with the world. People call it driven, restless, impatient. You call it operating as designed. If blood types were enginous, Type O is the high-performance model. Incredible power, but it demands the right fuel and regular red line runs. Or it starts eating itself. Type A, the cultivator's burden, the blood of the agricultural revolution. Picture the moment humanity stopped chasing dinner and started growing it. Settled in one place, planted seeds, built walls, stacked bodies close enough to share diseases. Everything changed, and your blood changed with it. This is the second most common type, running in about 30% of people. It didn't emerge from survival of the fittest. It emerged from the survival of the most cooperative. The planners, the ones who could delay gratification long enough to see a harvest. You're wired for civilization. Here's the mechanism. That A antigen coding your red blood cells evolved as an immune advantage against the new plagues of crowded settlements, cholera, smallpox, and the infections that festered where humans clustered. Your blood learned to recognize and fight the diseases of cities. But that same sticky A antigen makes your blood cells clump easier, flow more slowly, and clot faster. You've got better infection defense and worse cardiovascular odds. Evolution's favorite compromise. Your metabolism is the mirror opposite of Type O grains, vegetables, legumes. Your system processes plant-based nutrition like it's reading the original manual. Load up on red meat and your digestion struggles. Your cholesterol climbs. Your gut protests. You're biochemically designed for the farmer's plate, not the hunter's. But here's what nobody warns you about. The stress response. Type A runs on elevated cortisol. Not because you're more anxious, though you might be, but because your baseline stress hormone production is just higher. It's a biological inheritance from ancestors who needed constant vigilance to protect crops, stores, and that hyper-awareness kept settlements safe. In your life, it keeps you awake at 2 a.m. replaying a conversation from last Tuesday. You feel stress in layers. Where Type O gets a sharp adrenaline spike and burns it off, you get a slow cortisol drip that accumulates like interest. Meditation isn't a luxury for you. It's a pressure valve for a system designed to never fully relax. And the cost shows up in your arteries. Type A has significantly higher rates of heart disease and stroke compared to Type O. That sticky blood, that chronic stress hormone bath, it adds up. Your cardiovascular system is paying the tab for 10,000 years of agricultural anxiety, but you also got the gift of longevity in other ways. Lower stomach cancer rates, better outcomes with certain infections, and cognitively, Some research suggests type A shows stronger memory consolidation, better detail retention. You're built to remember where you planted, when to harvest, and which neighbor owes you grain. The vibe reads as careful intensity, thoughtful, organized, simmering rather than boiling. If type O is the sprinter, type A is the marathon runner who's been pacing since mile 1. Type A doesn't explode, it endures. But that endurance has a price tag attached to every heartbeat. Type B, the nomads, flexibility, the blood of the wanderer. While type O hunted and type A farmed, type B was moving, born somewhere in the high plains of Central Asia, carried by herders and traders who followed seasons and pastures, instead of planting roots, found in only about 10% of humanity. This is the blood type that never stayed still long enough to commit. Here's what that nomadic existence engineered. Metabolic flexibility. Type B handles both the high-protein hunter diet and the grain-heavy farmer plate. Meat, dairy, grains. Your system adapted to eat whatever the landscape offered, and it shows. You've got digestive versatility that types O and a don't. The catch. Your weak spot is chicken, corn, wheat, and lentils, strange specific sensitivities that trace back to what your ancestors never encountered on the steppes that antigen gave you a unique immune toolkit, powerful, specific resistance to certain bacterial infections that devastated other populations. But specialization creates blind spots. Your immune system is a sniper rifle, incredibly effective against certain targets and weirdly vulnerable to others. Type B shows higher susceptibility to rare infections and autoimmune conditions, where the body mistakes self for an invader. Your stress response is the middle path, not the explosive adrenaline dump of type O. Not the chronic cortisol drip of type A. Type B releases stress through cortisol but clears it faster, resets easier. You're biochemically wired for adaptability. New environment, new challenge. Your system doesn't panic or overthink, it recalibrates. This makes you resilient in chaos. Where type A needs structure and type O needs action, type B needs variety. Routine isn't comfort for you, it's suffocation. You're operating on genetic instructions written by people who changed. Campsites with the seasons. But here's the vulnerability that comes with flexibility. Decision fatigue. Because you can adapt to almost anything, you struggle to commit to any one thing. Too many options, all viable. Your ancestors thrived on that openness. You get paralyzed by restaurant menus, and your immune system's intensity, so good at fighting off specific invaders, sometimes turns inward. Type B shows elevated rates of chronic fatigue syndrome, lupus, and multiple sclerosis. Your defenses are powerful, but occasionally confused about who the enemy is. Cognitively, some studies link type B with higher creativity scores and nonlinear thinking. Makes sense? Linear thinking is for people who plow straight furrows. Your ancestors navigated by stars and seasons, reading a landscape that never stops shifting. The vibe is easy, flexibility with hidden intensity. Type B doesn't force or rush, but that calm adaptability is covering a system that's constantly scanning, adjusting, and preparing for the next move. If type O is the sprinter and type A is the marathoner, type B is the triathlete, comfortable in multiple modes, thriving in transition, but always a little restless, standing still. Type AB, the modern paradox, the newest blood type in human history, not ancient, not evolved over millennia. This is what happens when type A populations and type B populations finally collide and mix. You're not a throwback to hunter-gatherers or farmers or nomads. You're a genetic mashup that shouldn't exist. And yet here you are, the rarest of all, flowing through less than 5% of humanity. Here's the biological paradox. Your red blood cells carry both A and B antigens. You're running to conflicting programs simultaneously, and somehow it works. This makes you the universal recipient for blood transfusions. Your immune system recognizes everything as friendly. In an emergency, you can receive any blood type. You're biologically welcoming. But that same tolerance creates blind spots. Because your immune system doesn't have to fight off A or B antigens. It's softer, too welcoming. Type AB shows higher susceptibility to infections that other blood types shrug off. E. coli, salmonella, and certain respiratory infections. Your gates are open, and sometimes the wrong things walk through. Your metabolism is the wild card. You inherited the low stomach acid trait from type A, and the adaptable digestion from type B. This means you process some foods like a farmer, others like a nomad. Small, frequent meals work better than the three-square approach. Your system prefers grazing to feasting, variety to consistency. Here's where it gets strange. Type AB has the most complex relationship with stress. You've got type A's cortisol sensitivity and type B's adaptability fighting for control. In practice, this means you swing between overthinking and going with the flow, sometimes in the same afternoon. Your stress response isn't consistent. It's situational, reactive, and hard to predict even for you. And then there's the cognitive what? Multiple large-scale studies show type AB has a significantly higher risk of cognitive decline and memory problems later in life compared to every other blood type. The most complex blood type, and it might be slowly degrading the organ that defines you. The research is still unclear on why, but the correlation holds across populations. But you also got gifts from the genetic lottery. Type AB often shows the highest levels of intuition and empathy in personality studies. Maybe it's the constant internal negotiation between A and B traits. Maybe it's something else. Either way, you tend to read rooms, people, and subtext better than most. Physically, you're a mixed bag. Lower rates of some cancers, higher rates of others. Better outcomes with certain treatments, worse with others. Medicine doesn't quite know what to do with you yet because the research sample size is so small. You're too rare to have comprehensive data. The vibe is contradiction made flesh. Intense and calm. Overthinking and spontaneous. Biologically generous and immunologically vulnerable. If the other blood types are clear archetypes, Type AB is the glitch that became its own category. You're not built on ancient survival code. You're built on modern complexity. And nobody, including your own body, is entirely sure what that means yet. Your blood type isn't just a medical data point. It's a 4 billion heartbeat story written in the language of survival, adaptation, and the specific choices your ancestors made when the world asked them how they wanted to live. Hunter, farmer, nomad, or the place where all three collide. You're carrying that answer in every cell. Which of these 4 types runs through your veins? Drop your blood type in the comments and tell me the one thing from this video that hit different. Maybe it explains something you've always felt but couldn't name. Maybe it's pushing you to finally get that blood test if you don't know. If this kind of deep dive into the hidden biology shaping your life is your thing, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We decode what makes you, every single week. Before you go, check out the video on screen right now about what your eye color reveals. It's the same kind of biological detective work, and it'll change how you see the mirror forever. Your blood type isn't destiny, but it's definitely a clue. Thanks for watching.